Hi class, in this video we'll be talking about RStudio, and when you open up this program most everyone should see something like this. I think RStudio is going to be pretty standard across versions. And this should look familiar. You see the same R text and R program that we looked at in the last video, or when you saw just the R program here in the console. Same text, same version, same place for me to enter in a command like 1 plus 1, oops, sort of 1 plus 1, hit enter, I get the number 2, there's still that bracket there. This is the same R program that we looked at before. RStudio is really just a home for this R program to live in, and it has some other windows here that sort of highlight some of the features that are hidden in R. So for example, when we start making graphs in a week or two, you'll see those graphs appear here in the plots function. If you want, in sort of this plots window, if you want to load a package, sort of like a downloadable content, but free for R, sort of unlocks advanced features, you can click this and you can load them by pointing and clicking. You can do this in regular R, but RStudio just makes it a little more visible and a little more user-friendly. If you want to ask help, you can ask help in this window. This environment we'll talk about next week in more detail. This has a history of the command, so if you did something and you want to look back and see what you did, you can sort of see that history here. Again, all of this you can do in base R. You could successfully complete this class just using R, but RStudio makes it a little more user-friendly, a little more transparent about what's going on. The other thing I really like about RStudio is it really makes it really easy to save your work and to keep track of what you're doing. So, down here in the console where we're sort of interacting with the program R, it's sort of like having a real-time conversation. I'm giving it instructions, 1 plus 1, 2 plus 2, so on and so forth. And you can see that history sort of pop up here on the right. This is great, and conversations are really important. We converse a lot with people, but if you really want to create a body of work, we've sort of moved on from this oral tradition. Now we have these written texts that we sort of carry with us from situation to situation. And one thing I want to get you all in the habit of doing and really sort of practice is saving our work, sort of saving the code that we do. And if you see up here, there's this little like white box with the plus sign. This is going to be sort of like a new document. And an R script is like a Word doc or a Google doc that you will create, and it's just like an empty text, and you can type text into here, 1 plus 1. If I hit enter here, nothing will happen. It'll just give me another line of code. It doesn't send that instruction down here to the console. So you can send it down to the console in a couple different ways. One, you can highlight all of the text and then hit this little run button, and it will send this command, 1 plus 1, down to the console. I don't know if you saw that. I can do it again. Let's do 1 plus 1 and 2 plus 3. So I'm going to do 2 plus 3. I'm going to click run, and it will send it all the way down. If you want to send the whole line, you don't have to highlight it. You can just leave your cursor there and then hit run. So I'm going to send that down. I could click this and hit run, send that down as well. So, what's sort of interesting about this is I've typed the commands 1 plus 1, 2 plus 3, and then I can choose when to send them. I can send them over and over and over again if I wanted to. I can send both of them at the same time, for example. 1 plus 1 and 2 plus 3, when I add these, you'll see them kind of both get added down here simultaneously. A faster way to do this is to use a keyboard shortcut. This is the kind of thing that will get easier with time. I think now it's going to be a lot of like staring at your keyboard and trying to remember it, but eventually you'll get that sort of, long-term potentiation. You'll just get a muscle memory for it. And the command on a Mac is Command Enter. So the command button or the command key is that sort of one with the little squiggly symbol. And if you do that, it will automatically send that instruction down to the console. If I do 2 plus 3, again, with the command enter, it'll send it down. On a PC, you're looking at control enter. So that will just send it down automatically. I have a list of shortcuts that I'll post on the notes for this video. There's a lot of 1 plus 1s and 2 plus 3s here. I'm kind of getting stressed out. I'm getting lost. If you want to clear the console, which you'll often want to do, you can use Control L on both Mac or a PC, and that will just wipe the console clean. So all of that output is gone. The history is still here. The instructions that I've written in this document are still here, but the console is wiped clean. So I think this document here is called the source, and you can see it's sort of in red with a little star here. We can save this as a file, and you could save this document as some sort of file, and tell it where to store. We can just let's put this on my desktop folder, and we'll call it my first R file. And if I hit save, it will save it. Great. And now if I want to open this up later, I can open it up and I've saved my work. So that's a really nice feature of using a source file like this. I don't have to go back and repeat all my steps. This will be really critical. So we're going to be working with these source files throughout the entire semester. The other thing I'd like to get in the habit of, even now in the very beginning, is adding comments. And so this text, 1+1, is meant for computers. If I want to give a note for a human reader, I can add a little hashtag here and then say, some basic math. And then what's kind of cool about this, if I'm on a Mac, so I'm going to do Command Enter. If you're on a PC, Control Enter, run this command again. R will send that instruction 1+1 down, and it also sends this, some basic math down, but it doesn't read that instruction. If I just typed some basic math here and I sent this instruction down, R doesn't know what to do with that. It says error, unexpected symbol in some basic, like it just doesn't know what to make of that. R doesn't know English. It doesn't know sort of like human language. It knows sort of computer language and some of the math equations that we use. So if you want to write some note to yourself like this video is getting long, you can use a comment for that and use the hashtag for that. And it's just good to kind of like keep track of your notes and your work, and will help you look back at this and remember what you're doing. So this is the math part we're going to struggle with. Cool. All right. We will continue to work with RStudio. Right now, I think just the key idea is the difference between the console, where sort of the math actually happens, and then this source file that I can save now, where I can document the instructions that I want to give to RStudio. Cool. Hope that helped. If you have questions, please bring them to our next class, and we will continue to learn. Thanks.